it's me, Erin. Thanks for joining us on the More Love podcast. Do not tell Rebecca, but this podcast is about empathy. She likes people to think she's dead inside, but the truth is she's a big-time feeler who has truly helped me uncover that empathy is my superpower. Oh, here she comes.
Hey, bestie.
Hi, love.
What are you doing?
Oh, just getting ready to host a podcast.
A podcast? About what?
Life. Our life as best friends who are more like sisters.
Yay! I love us, and I can't wait to share our stories with the world.
Especially the ones that involve us pushing each other, right? To be our most authentic selves.
Oh, man. Okay. Did you want to try my coffee?
No, thanks. I'm sure it tastes like nuts. I'm
you sure you don't
real
want to try
good
it?
over here.
I really
with
like
my
drinking my
unsweetened
nuts.
iced tea. When I'm like, do you even know what a red eye is? The woman's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll take one of those. Thanks. I thought that was just something she made up.
Listen,
I don't
it's
know
been a rough.
if people know that, I usually just write down some words of things I want to try and touch on in the podcast. And so I wrote down number 1, I wrote down number 2, but then I also went to A because I had to add one before one when you walked in. You want to know what it is?
What? The red eye?
What's in your hair right now? We need to talk about.
Where is it?
Now, okay.
Yeah, I thought you were doing like some sort of an 80s Footloose thing. I wasn't quite sure.
Oh.
You got it.
I'm that's what we were going for?
I'm testing out a look for our cruise because we have to dress up on certain days, and this is one of my pieces.
Okay.
Very
When you say testing the
tonto.
look, were you were wondering like if anyone was going to mention it or
How I like it, how I feel about it, how it lays on my head.
Okay. So
I
I
already
wasn't
lost a feather, so I don't know if I can return it.
Okay. So just to explain to the listeners who are not watching on the YouTubes.
They should watch the YouTubes.
It's
way
a
better.
whole new experience on
Way
the
better.
YouTubes. While you're there, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So you have this like very thin neutral color braided. It's like a headband that
It's like
goes
leather.
all the way around the head. Now, did that surprise me? No, that didn't phase
This
me
is
in
what
one
did?
bit. But you moved a little bit to the right, and all of a sudden I saw feathers floating in the breeze.
Look at they got wooden beads.
Yes. And so the feathers are attached to some incredibly long. Do you remember in the early 90s when boys had rat tails? Does everyone remember
Yes.
that? When they had rat tails.
And they would braid it?
And it was usually just the one rat tail coming down, and it's a braided rat tail, right?
Sorry, I just did that with my earphone. Sorry, that was me.
This is 5 braided rat tails, and they come down to her belly button. And then at the bottom, there's these wooden beads with these very white feathers.
Yeah.
You-
I think it's a wedding
Do you know what it
headdress.
looks like to me? I
Tell
don't
me.
know.
Oh,
If, I
can't
don't
wait.
know if I'm really aging myself here, but remember when you used to go to carnivals and you could win like those long feather things with the alligator clip at the end,
Yeah.
or
I know what
those
you're talking
big
about.
stretched out Pepsi bottles?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting that. That was like the party in the back that just showed up.
But let's be
You know?
let's be real clear. She's having these reactions and these feelings, and then when we're on the cruise, she's going to say, "Did you bring that headdress? Because I want to wear it today."
Did you give me one?
That's how
Where's
it's going to
mine?
go. I know her. She's like always skeptical and hates everything, and then 2 days later, she's like either gets it herself or says, "You
Order
think I can
that
borrow
for me. Order that for me. When are you wearing that? Tuesday? I'm wearing it on Wednesday.
Right. No, I'm just going to take it off halfway through. You get it the rest of the day.
Yeah. Right. So that was A before number 1. Number 1 was this experience that just happened to me when I was at the Goodwill. Because, of course, I'm on the phone with Rebecca before the podcast because I have to talk to her a million times. And I have some extra time to spare. So I have to stop at Goodwill because I have to drop off something that I'm donating. And Rebecca's on the phone with me. And you know when like someone's on your phone in your car, it's almost like the speaker system. So everyone can hear what you're talking about. It just doesn't matter when you're driving. But when you pull up to the Goodwill little spot where you drop things off, this man comes out.
And I don't know your
No, you don't even know what I'm doing.
car.
I'm actually trying to be discreet about it because you're in the midst of talking about something important, and I just want to like hand this off and go.
Right.
So I pull up to the Goodwill, and I see the guy come out. He's an older gentleman, looks very kind, and I take the thing that I'm ready to donate, and I pick it up. It's heavy, so I have to open up the car door. I open it up, and he's looking at me, and you hear Rebecca talking about whatever she's talking about. And the first thing he says to me is, "Are you in a meeting?" And then pauses for a second and says, "Or are you listening to a self-help tape?" And I said, neither. I'm just talking to my best friend on the phone. I hand him the thing I'm donating. I then get back in the car, and he leans in and says, "Good. I'm really happy you're there for her." And then I shut the door and pull away, and I say, "Can you stop for a minute? I got to tell you what just happened." I said, "This is what just happened." And she's like, "Even the guy at Goodwill knows I'm in a bad place." I'm like, "He does." He was like, "I'm really happy you're there for her." "Oh, okay. All right then." So that happened at Goodwill
Are you
today.
listening to a self-help tape?
Are you listening? Yeah. Oh, if I am, I got to turn that right off.
Because I was reflecting. I was
it.
in the middle of reflecting on what I think was happening.
Yes. Yeah. Because I brought some stuff up to you, and then you were like, "This is what I think might be going on." Right? And are you listening to a self-help tape? Dear God, please no. Please don't let that be the self-help tape. If I am, I want my money back. I want my money back. Mm-hmm. So, good thing that Kim is here because we have a guest today.
I know.
And you know all the things about Kim. And I'll let you introduce Kim here in a moment. But good thing Kim's here because she says she's going to give you an angel symbol.
I know.
I have no idea what that means. But I gave you a red and a black rock to really ground your soul today.
Because that's what we determined. We determined that I'm never grounded and my root chakra is always effed up.
Yeah.
But it's like unhinged.
Oh, yeah. It's like the house and Up.
Yeah.
Connected to all the balloons. Yeah. That's your soul right now.
Not just that, but it's about to enter the tornado, or it's in the tornado from Wizard of Oz. Yeah. It's
the house from Up in the tornado from Wizard of Oz.
Yes, that is ultimately going to land on something. Yeah. And murder it.
Yeah, it's going to land on the waterfall from Up and then just go right down it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's where we're at. So
I pulled a card,
okay,
which I find really interesting.
Okay.
Frankly, I don't think it really has anything to do with anything, but that's fine.
Of course it doesn't. Then Kim's going to draw it all together for us and let us know how it's related. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the 10 of Cups, and it has 10 jellyfish. And they're they're looking at each other lovingly.
Oh, it looks like some of them are in potted plants.
I didn't realize.
If they're solo cups, it's like beer pong.
Oh, okay. Why
jellyfish
are some
have eyes?
These ones do because they're cute little animals. Okay. Erin hates these cards. Ugh. She hates them. So she's going to hate the way that this is.
Oh, because it's red.
Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I did get
What's it called? The 10 of Cups?
Yes. I got my new glasses and I forgot them at home.
Okay, good. It's a good job.
Okay.
It's fine. It's not grounded. Not grounded. It's fine.
Right. 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is all about transcendent joy and ultimate harmony. But not just generic, run-of-the-mill transcendent joy and ultimate harmony. No. This card applies particularly to your home and family life. That means if you put a ring on it recently, it seems you've made a great choice. If you haven't, maybe it's a preview of coming attractions. Ring or no ring, you're being blessed by the relationship gods. So keep your eyes peeled for some sort of nurturing and rewarding partnership that fills your heart beyond all expectations. Hopefully you can spot it. Affirmation. I am finally ready for a spiritual partnership that leaves my past in its ever-loving dust. Nice knowing you. Less than perfects. Is this because you called me this morning and called me out on all this bullshit?
Yeah. Good. I put a ring on it. That's what happened. I put a ring on it. I was like, listen, I need to just bring this up. We just need to talk about this. And I stop putting that on the W's.
It's Pound Town. I don't like Pound Town.
I cannot put it somewhere.
It smells
don't
so
put it.
bad.
I can't. Why? Every time.
Sorry.
And then I gotta grab it. I don't like this. I can't. Oh, I thought you really,
like this one.
I thought you really threw it.
it's grass.
I thought you really threw it.
No, it's gross. This
That's
is the
all
one I
right.
don't like because
That's absolutely what happened. I put a ring on it
I know.
because I basically called and said, we need to talk about some things that are going on right now that are not okay.
I
And
know.
I'm going to
I know.
start with how I'm feeling, and then I'm going to move into why you're not okay. And you said, okay.
Yeah. I mean, no, I get it. So I'm going to focus in on my root chakra.
We're going to center a little, rub your rocks, get your rocks out.
It's
We
going
got
to be nice
Kim here today.
I'm
It's
going to
the
walk in the
perfect
grass.
day.
I'm going to walk in the grass
With your bare
feet.
feet. Yeah. It's
Yep.
a perfect day to have Kim here. She's just going to, whatever she's about to do, it's great.
Nothing can go.
It's perfect.
Okay. So we have a guest. I'm
So
super
hi,
pumped.
Kim.
Hi.
I'm so excited. You guys,
I'm
I've
so
talked about
excited.
Kim so much. I mean, Kim changed my life in so many ways. And I think it's been almost 5 years now, Kim. Is that nuts?
I really can't, but it seems like yesterday.
It
Like,
does
I
seem
can't
like
believe
yesterday,
it's
but I
been
really
5
do
years.
think it's been 5 years. No, it was 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've shared my story where I was not in a good place and I really was trying to focus on sleeping. And so I already have my built-in therapist, so I didn't need talk therapy. It's not going to be the thing. She forces me to talk about things I don't want to talk about anyway. So I was like, I need something else. And so I went on, I think it was Psychology Today, and I looked up sleep therapists. Like I was thinking that maybe somebody could help me talk about sleep and all these things. And Kim's name showed up and it said hypnotherapy. I'm like, what the F is that? So I had reached out to 3 other people and Kim was the one that responded, not hypnotherapists, just regular old people who do therapy and talk about sleep. And Kim responded immediately with this questionnaire and stuff. And I filled it out, not wanting to do it the whole time. And I set the consultation appointment. And I remember driving to the building, not wanting to be there, pulled in, sat in the waiting room, and immediately cried, feeling like this is exactly where I need to be. I had the consultation with her, and it was like, this is exactly what I need to be doing. I had no idea what hypnotherapy was. I had no idea any of it. And basically what sold me is she said, you don't need to talk.
Yeah. Yes.
I said, great.
Those are words. Those are words to your heart.
Now, reality is, I talked the whole effing time. There was not a silent part of any of it, but it was the invitation to come and heal and grow and learn, expand, rewire, reprogram, and you don't have to talk about it. And you will see shifts, right? It's the whole concept of all you do, you can control yourself, right? And the amount of clarity and healing and things that happened and shifts in my life that took place throughout that time and continue to do so because it's a practice, right?
Yep.
Has been transformative. So I've shared that on here and I just want to give other people options because a lot of people think hippie voodoo shit is weird. Get it. I get it. So, Kim came into my life. She used to live in Rochester. That's how we got connected. And then we formed a relationship, a friendship afterwards and stayed in touch. And she has since moved. So she's not local, but we've done Zoom sessions, which has been equally as effective. So I will let Kim tell her own background and her own story because it's very interesting. But I'm super pumped to have her a part.
Yeah, we're excited to share her with you.
I've had Erin and Kim together socially. So Erin's had dinner and stuff with us, but we didn't really talk a whole lot about business.
No.
So this will be great. So Kim, I'll let you introduce yourself.
So I just have to say that how any 2 people sharing the same experience have 2 totally different perspectives and remember 2 totally different things about the same experience. And
she's about to say she thought you were whacked.
That's funny because I don't remember I don't remember the sleep part. I remember a lot of other things that we talked about, but I do. And the thing that I thought first was like, first when I saw you, I was like, how does she walk in those shoes? How do you walk? I think I asked you that too. Like I probably didn't even listen to what you said initially because I couldn't I'm like, how does she walk so easily in these shoes?
First things first. Yeah.
Right?
I gotta get this out of the way.
It's true. I mean, I am a vibe. I am a vibe. You're going to have, you can't get past the vibe to get to the core until you address the vibe.
Until you ask the questions. Yeah.
Once you get past that, then it's fine.
Tell me about your rat tail feathers, and then we can get into the good stuff. Yeah.
So funny. So that seems like it just seems like it was yesterday. But
I know.
My background is that I am a speech language pathologist, and that's my first career. And I got to a place in my career where I love kids, working with kids, and I've been a pediatric SLP for most of my career. But then after I got divorced, I moved into like a new area of speech therapy where I was a rehab manager. And then I was working with adults, like acute care and long-term care. And I ended up, it just got to a place in my life that was like, I felt like the lowest I could go. Like my dad died. I'm divorced. I don't have any friends anymore. Just my whole life changed. And then I'm working at this place that seems so foreign to me because kids have been, my joy, my life. And where I was working at the time, I had wanted to do a past life regression for me. And I was looking up hypnotists in the Rochester area. And so I walked into the place where I went, and I saw the plaque on the wall that was and I kept thinking like this, I don't belong here working in this place. I don't belong. There's something more for me. I'm not helping people enough in this career. Like I just felt like I'm floating. What am I doing? What am I doing here? And on the planet, I mean, when I thought that. And then I see this plaque about the ways that hypnosis can change a life. And I didn't hear a word he said. My eyes locked on that plaque. And all I could think of was like, I could learn this. I could do this. Like maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And I didn't hear a thing he said about past life regression. I just asked him, could I get certified to do this? And he was like, absolutely. So I said, let's do that then. I never did the past life regression with him. I dropped it. I just, all I remember about that day was that plaque and thinking, this is how I could help people like this. And my heart, like, instead of crying, I felt elated. And then I went home and told the kids, and I had 2 teenage boys at the time. And one of them said to me, "You've crossed the line this time, Missy." He said, so, I'll never forget that because Chad said to me, we cut you some slack when you brought out the tarot cards. We let it go when you got the ghost rods out and started talking to the dead people. And he said, Mom, I think you need to march back in there and tell that guy you want your money back. And I said, because you're embarrassed that your mom is going to do hypnosis. And he said, well, yeah. And I said, well, that makes me want to do it even more. And after that, all the kids were kind of like, I have 4 kids. They all kind of made fun of it. But then when they saw how it works and the power of it, I would say like all of them in some capacity started with, and I don't know that they consciously know they do it either, but all of them in some capacity use it. One of my kids has used it more than the others, but it's just been magical. So that's what happened. So 7 years ago, I got that certification and I fell in love with learning about the brain, the mind, the unconscious mind, all the things that it can do for people. Plus my whole love of the metaphysical and energy work and everything was already there. And then I just thought, wow, I saw what it can do for people, kids and adults. Mm. And then I thought, well, I had said this all along as a speech therapist working with kids. I remember thinking, wouldn't it be great if there was a way I could program your brain to remember this stuff so I don't have to tell you every Monday again. And then I didn't know about the unconscious mind at the time. And then once I learned, I was like, oh, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So I just, why keep taking the long way around to get anything done, any changes in your life when you can turbocharge it with using the
Erin's face right now is
unconscious?
priceless.
I have so many
Her
thoughts
priceless,
and questions.
It's priceless.
and-
She's like, how do I program my husband?
Yeah.
I know what she's thinking. What?
Right.
Give me the tools.
Oh, you said program
Give
and
me the
fast
tools.
track.
Okay,
I like that.
great.
Thank you.
Check. Sign up where?
Right.
Call Kim.
How much doesn't matter.
But you can't change another. You can't program someone else. You can only change yourself.
Why not? how do I get that certification, Kim? I would like that one. I'd like to fast track some other people's progress. But
Yes. Well,
I have some thoughts and some questions about this. So it sounds like you, in some ways, felt drawn to this particular career and that it connected with you. And then once you really dove into it, you were like, wow, I can see this working in a way that's really helping people and connecting with people and helping people fast track their progress. So why hypnosis as opposed to any of the other, talk therapies or play therapy or EMDR or all of the other things that are out there? What is unique about hypnosis in your mind in terms of assisting people?
I love that question. So the things that EMDR is great. EMDR does help you. It connects to the subconscious. So I would put EMDR more on the side of, hypnosis because you're connecting with the unconscious, the right brain more. So the left brain types of therapy, like talk therapy or play therapy, like as great as they are in a lot of ways, you are still dealing with the left brain, and everybody's shit is connected to the right brain. So I love this analogy that I'm sure you have seen the poster with the metaphor with the iceberg, and you can see the top of the iceberg and you only see a small part of the iceberg, and then under the water is how deep the iceberg really goes, like how massive it really is. Mm-hmm. And you can compare that to the brain, that like when you're in your conscious mind, people think that they're going to solve their problem by conscious thought, by rationalizing it, by applying logic and reason, the part of the brain that you use in everyday life. But the power of the brain is in the unconscious mind, and that controls everything we do. Like 95% of what we do all day is run by the unconscious mind. And so when you can connect with the other side of the brain, which is really like your feelings are running your patterns, right? Because it's all about, the negative things are really running us, like an app that's running in the background and you don't know the app is running. It's like your unconscious mind is all those stories, all the things that have hurt you, the things you're trying not to do. I don't want to do that again because that was painful. Unconsciously, your mind is trying to keep you away from the things that hurt you. It's not necessarily doing it the most functional way. And then you look at your life and you're like, you shouldn't. How many people say, I know I should not be doing this, but I do it anyway. And I don't know why I'm doing it. The I don't know why I'm doing it is the app that's running in the background, the unconscious mind controlling your patterns and your habits and your phobias and the things that you do, the self-sabotage. So when you can unlock that language and you have the key to that side of the brain, and then you can combine it with the conscious brain, you're golden.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there has to be a combo. It can't be one or the other.
Yeah, or you got to start somewhere.
Definitely in combination.
Right?
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
You got to start
sure.
somewhere. Yeah. But where do those unconscious experiences come from? Am I right in assuming that if something happened in my childhood that I was, let's say 5 years old and not fully present yet to be able to completely understand how I was rationalizing or feeling about it, I just know that I felt a certain way when, let's say I had an interaction with my dad. Is it the case that would then be imprinted in my brain And that imprint continues to carry throughout the rest of my life in these subconscious and subliminal ways that I might not even be realizing or playing out in my actions and behaviors today. And through the process of hypnosis, we go back to touching upon that part, which is in the subconscious, to just look at it and appreciate it and see what it is and make some peace with it. And then by healing that or by acknowledging that, it then is not going to be pushing itself out in as maladaptive of ways in my behavior as it has previously. Is that, am I on the right track?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So if you think about influence, how people are influenced, right? And I mean, everybody's first and most significant hypnotist is their parents, whoever's raising them, what parent or guardian or whoever is whoever this child is living with. So when you're born, your brain, you're one walking unconscious mind for 5, 6, or 7 years until the critical faculty in the brain develops. I mean, think about, like, children have to be absorbent like a sponge, or they wouldn't learn all the things that we need to teach them. So you are in a household with people who have very defined and prominent feelings about their value system or the even the genetics that people are carrying. They don't even realize, people play out patterns of, your parents are playing out what their parents and, just on down the line genetically. So a child is born into this and, kids are absorbing everything that happens with those parents. I mean, before they even have language, just the feelings of the parents' anxiety or just visually, they're taking in the body language, the sounds, they're hearing everything. The kid is a sponge. So by the time they're 7, now they can develop they have some left brain, in the critical faculties there. So they can start rejecting some things. But prior to that, when the brain is just open, they can't reject what they're being exposed to. So yes, exactly, imprinted. And so that goes pretty deep. So without knowing it, a lot of your values can change as you become older and you can make choices about your values and what's important. But without knowing it, probably a lot of your values are things that you unconsciously aren't aware of. That
Does
maybe
degree of trauma matter? So let's say I have a bad interaction with my dad and I find that he's just emotionally unavailable. But let's say someone else has a very traumatic kidnapping experience where they're gone for a long period of time by someone that they do not know, and then is all of a sudden returned on their street. I would put those two in different categories of trauma. Mm-hmm. Imprinting, I'm understanding, is going to happen in both scenarios. But does that degree of trauma, would the idea be that would then potentially play out in behaviors later on in life at a more magnified level? Or does degree of trauma not really matter? It just depends on how it gets imprinted in that person's subconscious.
That's a super question. And really how you worded it was beautiful. The degree to which each individual experiences something as traumatic, like look at what Scott said when we first got here, that I don't know if Scott has kids, but the dog dying could be so traumatic to some very feeling empathic child more than a kidnapping is to another kid. So it's really the way it's not what happens to you that determines how traumatic it is. It's the story you tell yourself about what happens to you. So if you choose to believe, hey, I got kidnapped, but I survived it, like I'm a hero. If you tell yourself that story, then your kidnapping may be very well less traumatic to you than what happens with when somebody has a situation with their dad and they maybe start to tell themselves, I am the problem. I'm not loved. I'm a child that, doesn't deserve love, or I'm unlovable. It's all about what the story that you start to tell yourself, and then what you believe, and then you reinforce that.
I'm having all these reactions.
Rebecca, this is how we're real clear. Rebecca needs to be back on her meds for a more consistent period of time.
I can't.
One of two things is about to happen. She's either about to, do you see it? She's either about to head out the door, or she's about to put up the sign where she goes like this, and she goes, pause. And then she sends me another sign that says, I'm not listening anymore, which means she's checked out.
Can we talk about some hippie voodoo shit?
It's too much. But the thing is,
too much.
This was the perfect day, Rebecca, because we're going to
I know.
No, because
I really love that.
I know.
I really do love that.
This is why when I sat down with Kim, and this is exactly our consultation. She's just talking about what hypnotherapy is and what it can do. And to me, these are all buzzwords. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do it, but I need to do it. I don't want to do it, but I need to do it. I don't want to do it.
Interesting. Well, what I really love about that is that does really strongly connect with the forms of therapy that I am most used to doing, which is not the subconscious, it's the talk therapy, right? And when we've talked in many of these conversations where I'm like, when someone brings something to you as a therapist, I am not judging what you're bringing to me. You could literally tell me that you broke a nail yesterday, and I would be like, tell me more about what that experience meant for you, right? In that way, there's a real beauty in the fact that trauma is not this thing that gets defined by society. It's a combination of your personality, your sensitivity level, your genes, your past experiences, and then the interplay of that with what has happened to you.
Let's be clear, you're not always aware of it.
No.
I shared, I don't share a lot of things, but I shared that when I uncovered my quote unquote trauma, or the things that was triggering me, was actually one of my most favorite memories.
Yeah.
And that was such an aha moment, because then once I figured that out subconsciously through the hypnotherapy, everything started to click. It was like, no wonder I make these choices. No wonder I have these values. No wonder I feel this way. No wonder I'm constantly being triggered by this.
Yeah.
It just made so much sense. And then it allowed me to choose my reactions differently.
Yeah. It's like a puzzle piece got put into place that now you're seeing it more completely.
But talk therapy with you never would have gotten there.
No.
Never in 1,000 years, because I couldn't go there because
it was untapped.
It wasn't even something that
we would have glossed over it,
because it's beautiful, actually.
Right.
So anyway,
right. Yeah. I think that's really interesting. And I really love this idea of tapping into another modality that helps people find some degree of clarity, completeness, and connection to that which is themselves.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I do always make fun of a lot of your hippie voodoo shit, but I am a very big fan of anything that gets us closer to feeling at ease with our sense of self. And as long as it's not hurting other people in the process, I'm here for it. You know, we talked about that last week when we were talking about the freeze-dried cat situation, right? And it's like, okay, well, what is it for you that makes you feel, right? When we start to maybe go a little overboard in that, or when it starts to get a little whatever, that's maybe when we need to rein it in a little bit. But I really do love the idea of helping people with completeness. And I'll tell you, Kim, Rebecca didn't tell me that she was going through hypnotherapy 5 whatever years ago. I said to her, what are you doing? What's different? You're a different human being. What's going on?
And I wasn't going to tell her.
That was the best confirmation for me, because I, as a researcher, have to see it. You have to prove it to me before I'm going to buy into what we're talking about. And I saw it and experienced it for weeks before I was like, what is going on? I think maybe I knew you were doing hypnotherapy, but I didn't know anything about it, or like the ins and outs of it, but I was like, wow, you just reacted very differently to that than you would have. What is this? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm. And that was pre-medication. That was pre-everything. That was literally just doing the work. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so interesting. But I see what I love about your podcast, More Love, is really doing anything unconsciously is about more love. What really is needed is self-love. Because the common thread that runs through everybody is the feeling of I'm not good enough. That's true for everybody. Minus the majority of people. And
which I would say maybe are the most. Yeah. On love. They just can't tap it.
Yeah.
There's a hypnotherapy group for you right there. Yeah. Specialize in hypnotherapy for narcissists. Ooh, the first session's a real shitter, but after that, maybe we get somewhere.
But when you can tell yourself a different story, so this is the power of the unconscious mind, right? The language of the unconscious mind is the imagination. So it's what you see, hear, and also most significantly what you feel. So when I was saying to Rebecca in our consult, you don't have to say anything. It's really not about what you say. It's about what is the feeling that you don't like. Like, how are you feeling? What's problematic in your life that, these feelings that are getting in the way? And how would you rather feel instead? So it's really like, that's the bridge to get you from where you are to where you want to be, is the feeling. So a lot of people actually don't know how they want to feel because they've shut down their imagination. And a lot of people are so traumatized that maybe they're scared to even dream, or they don't know how to dream because it was never allowed, depending on your level of trauma. But everybody can find something that can get them to a vision of what they want or how they want to feel. And even if that's starting small. So it's not about, you don't have to go back and to that moment where your dad did X, Y, or Z. You don't have to go back to it. It doesn't have to be, you got to relive that again. It's really about, what do you want? What do you want for your future? And then let's practice that in the unconscious mind and start telling yourself that. When you believe the new thing about yourself, and you can practice how you want to behave in, let's take a lot of people now having social anxiety and don't know why. When you can just imagine in your mind or role play, you're out in a social situation, and instead of running and wanting to go hide or go home, you can stay and talk and feel confident. Just practicing that, so it's actually fun. I mean, I would say, I know people get kind of freaked out about it, or because they don't know, or scared about, where am I going to go? What am I going to see? I don't want to go back to those things. You don't have to go back to those things. I would rather have people be in the future, like future pace. What do you want?
Can you talk a little bit about, I remember, it might even been our first session, I don't know, but talk a little bit about the actual mind and how you said that it's like an app running in the background. I remember you saying at one point it was like a cassette tape that is constantly recording and then just running constantly. And then what happens when you're under hypnosis, you will say, we kind of decided on the affirmations and the words and the things that we were going to work on in that session prior to going under, and then explain how you would almost disrupt that tape recorder or disrupt that pattern and then rebuild it and reinforce it so that the new pattern is, instead of saying, I'm not worthy, the new pattern is, I am worthy and I desire abundance or whatever, right? Like just reframing and then reinforcing that over and over. Can you explain that process? Because I think that's the part that for me was so powerful. It was that like abrupt, you cut the tape and then you re-stick it together in a different version. You know how, like, when you see in the movies, the old movies where they cut out a section and then they read and then it changes the trajectory. That's how I felt after I would get out of the sessions. So can you explain that piece? And I remember you talking about, and I wasn't even convinced that was the thing I was dealing with But then as we were going through the session, it all made sense. So can you explain that?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get to that. There's like a lot of means to that end. But as I'm thinking, like just for example, one of my apps or things that run in the background, and you know, most people are not aware. And Erin, I'm sure you know this. If you ask your client, how negative do you think you are? How negative is your self-talk? How positive do you think you are? Most people don't have an accurate judge of. Most of my clients will say, I'm not really that negative, but yet they've just spit out 30 minutes of constant, everything's negative, but people don't hear themselves. So
yeah,
I'm sure you do this, Erin, or, you know, encouraging your clients to write down your thought. Like if you journal it, then you're looking at it on paper. So it's right in your face how, you know, you can see it right there. What are your typical things that you feel or say? Or even what you think when you're looking in the mirror, right? Just really check in with yourself and get an idea of what is your self-talk really like. So when people can kind of become more mindful of that. And so mine is, one of mine was, I was told pretty much every day of my life that I'm stupid, that, you know, I'm not, why can't you be more like your brother? You know, your brother's so smart. Where did you come from? You know, just my mom was relentless with the, you know, how always would say in one form or another, how could you be so stupid? You're so stupid.
Was that a pendulum in your hand?
So that's, I mean, so when you're told that, that's like, that's the tape that plays in the background, because it's not even my voice. It's my mom's voice, but then it becomes my voice. So thinking about, you know, a person who wants to go try anything new, taking a dance class, right? Or, you know, raising their hand in a class. You're always hearing in the background, put your hand down, you're stupid. Someone's going to laugh at you. You know, that's the kind of, without knowing it, you think how many kids in a classroom don't raise their hand because without knowing it, that's what they hear. So so how to reprogram that, like there's a lot of ways you can get to that, but, you know, maybe following that feeling back to something that you want to try. What's blocking you? You know, what's the worst thing that could, if you ask someone, what's the worst thing that could happen if you sign up for this class? And then they'll say, well, people could laugh at me. And follow that back. Where did that come from? Just keep following it back. But then you could take those words or the feeling and you could change it. Like it's so simple. What if you put your favorite color around that feeling, you know, like a pink instead of the red that it represents your fear? Or what if you make it, what if you make it black and white? So it's not in bold color in your mind anymore. What if you turn the volume down on it? Or what if we overlay it with something, you know, a different belief? Like
a lot of this is very similar to what you do. Like I'll use CBT, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy. If you were to come in to CBT and you were to say, I've received my whole life feelings and messages that I am stupid. What I would say is, and tell me more about those messages and where those messages came from. And you would say, well, they came from my mom. And I would work through the process of trying to understand how they came to be your beliefs as opposed to beliefs that someone was putting on you. What's different, because when you talked about the tape that's getting cut in CBT, that's what we do, is if we can change your cognition, we can change your behaviors. And what I would do verbally with you is every time we notice that this fear comes up, are we able to recognize it? Yes, because this is what happens to me, right? Great. And when that does come up, sometimes we'll say, we're going to snap a rubber band and we're immediately going to think what instead? And then you have an affirmation, right? I am smart. I am capable, right? What's interesting to me is that I do absolutely see the limits of the type of client that is necessary to do that type of work. One, you have to be a client that has enough self-awareness and wherewithal to be able to have that conversation. And on the other end of that, if you do have all of that, and then you've reprogrammed yourself to be thinking something different, we've not tapped into the emotional component of that. So you have people on CBT as a therapy form fits the people who have enough self-awareness and the people who are happy with good enough without needing to, reprogram but what's under that? And where is this coming from? And there's still something in my soul that feels disrupted. That's right.
Right.
And both of those, yes.
Yeah.
Where I really love this is, again, it's not feeling this hokey sense of like, I'm going to put you under hypnosis and we're going to just take away all the bad things that ever happened to you. And you're going to be an adorable little robot at the end who's like, this is all really great.
It is
right?
work. Yeah.
It's work, but it's also, I can see what you're saying, Kim, about using the same strategies and techniques I would use in talk therapy, but tapping into that in a place that people are not able to go through language, through the confines of knowledge, through logic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But you have to have the belief in order to participate in hypnosis that the spiritual, intuitive self is equally as important as a part of your body makeup.
I would agree.
As the chemistry.
I would agree with
of your brain.
I would absolutely agree with that. And the other piece for me is I'm such a visual person, right? It was so easy to, as Kim as my guide, to be able to, I remember being, again, I'm not unconscious. What is that word? Whatever. When you're under hypnosis, I distinctly remember our conversations. And I remember saying to her, Kim, I see this huge ear. And then she would just ask questions and I would dig deeper and start. And then all of a sudden I would have this epiphany and go, oh my God, Kim, this is what it is. And then we would talk about it. And then that is the process underneath. Or I remember the colors for me is a really big deal because she would say, what do you see? Right. And I'd say, I see this red blob and I think this is what's behind it. And so then we would physically change that. And then I'd focus in on that. And then that was a game changer for me. To reframe, redesign, rearticulate, and then reinforce, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the work.
Right.
But that's hard.
Yeah, right.
That's really hard. My favorite is when she would do the Reiki and we would do the chakras, right? Now, I didn't know anything about any of that. I just like read about it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it made so much sense when she would talk about it. And then I would visualize fans. I distinctly remember we would visualize fans going through the body and I'd say, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, the green one's stuck. And she would say, well, the green one's your heart. And then I'd cry. And I'd be like, I know. And I'd be like, no, it's going backwards. And she's like, okay, we're going to fix that. Right. And then I would distinctly remember it would start to go forward and it would be like sludge. And then the next session, I'd be like, it's going a little bit. And then we'd work. And then by the end, it was like a fan.
A full-on fan.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to get this is not good, people. Yeah. This is not good.
I know. Talk about hot dogs or something, guys.
Jesus
just
Christ.
change the topic. Her fans are moving. Her fans are moving.
But I remember feeling, for me, that was like, it was the reinforcement and it was the, yes, these are the feelings I have never felt. And this is what it feels like to feel aligned and joyful and happy and not, my heartburn went away for the first time in 30 years.
But it was it wasn't necessarily about that particular thing that you could not identify. You are a very connected person to your mind, body, and spirit. And so it didn't really matter what it was you were talking about. Right. You just had this overall sense of peace, completeness.
Yes.
Looks like the piece has, whatever it was we were talking about, the piece is now back in place and like,
yes.
Okay.
And so then if I had let's say I had a disagreement with my mom, I reacted differently because I felt safe and secure.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you were more complete.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at work, I felt more confident to speak my mind. Right? That's what it allowed me to do.
Yeah. I have 3 questions for you, Kim, that I'm hoping you can go into.
And once our More Love subscription is live, you will only be able to hear those 3 questions if you're one of our Even More Love subscribers. Hey, we're just trying to prepare you here because that's what people who give more love do. They help people prepare for the love they deserve to receive.
So, Kim, I have 3 questions for you that are coming up as a result of this conversation that I think people will want to know if they're interested in hypnotherapy. So my first is, explain to me, as someone who's never done hypnotherapy, what I can literally expect from the time I walk into your office, what can I expect is going to happen during these sessions so that as an anxious person, I have some awareness of what it's going to be like before I just come in there and let my mind go free to a complete stranger that I've never engaged with before?
Yeah, great question. So I always have a plan when someone first does their consult call with me. Like I get an idea of what I want to do or what I think would be beneficial, but I don't hold too strongly to that because most times between the consult and the first session, something has changed. So I just really go with whatever someone presents, where they're at when they walk in. So mostly, I mean, a lot of the things we do are just fun. So they're active imagination. Like a lot of NLP techniques are quick 10-minute things that are, I would say I call them fun. I think they're fun because you're visualizing something that you want instead. You're not doing emotionally hard work. You're just taking an example of, okay, so I get really scared, at work. I get really scared in this situation when I have to present something at a meeting. How do you want to feel instead? How would you like to feel in that meeting? I'd like to feel confident and empowered, and I would like to feel like a confident speaker. Okay, so then we just practice that. So in a very quick 10-minute technique, you are imagining through the process how being your best self in that situation. So that's just fun, and because you're getting to practice being. Everything's a mind game. Everything in life is a mind game. Fake it till you make it. Just pretend that you're this person, and nobody can judge you because you're just doing it in your mind.
That's under hypnosis, or that's
that's NLP. That's active imagination.
Okay. So we're just playing around when I first get in there about, let's just imagine what this might be a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I always do, I end my sessions with hypnosis because the hypnotherapy, the hypnosis part is relaxing. It's like a massage or like being in a hot tub for your mind,
Yeah.
For most people. And by that time, people aren't nervous anymore because we've played these little mind games that are fun. And we've done just talking about things that are, tell me about you. What are your strengths? What would, if your best friend was sitting here telling me about you, what would your best friend say about you? So it's just things so people can connect with their positive traits. People forget that. Like they walk in the door, they're nervous, they're anxious, and they've been focused on so much negativity that they've forgotten that they are competent people, that they're loved, that when they were little, they were really good at X, Y, and Z because they're focused on the now and what they don't have and where they aren't at. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of that. Like, well, tell me, what are you good at? Are you whatever? Are you athletic? Are you a gardener? So we talk about that. And then we do some of the maybe NLP active imagination things. And then, when we get to the hypnosis part, now I have a better idea of this person, like really who they are and how other people see them and what inner strengths or what attributes or characteristics, because I'm listening, and now I've done a consult call with them and now I've heard a lot of them. So I can see so many great things about this person that they're not seeing in themselves. Mm. And then we'll get to the hypnotic part. And then maybe they're saying like, I think of my client who was just here, I feel like, I just feel like I'm doomed, like I'm cursed, like I'm just destined for a life full of crap. Hmm. So what, I would just say maybe like, what do you want instead? What would be the most important thing, the single most, if we had a magic wand, what would be the thing that would make the biggest difference in your life if it was going different right now? And so most people can come up with that. And so then we start to visualize that. So we set an intention for that. Well, let's focus on that. Let's build that, and then I try and get everybody to do a a grounding, like Rebecca said, her not grounded. So you want to be grounded, to feel grounded, and then also safe and protected and loved. So in the beginning, I always have people connect with their support, who loves them, who's around them. Even if it's your dog, whatever, just bring that in and just imagine that level of support is there, because it's all about love, right? So, and you can achieve anything through love. And I really believe that of course, the highest vibration is love. Fear and negativity are so low, and that's where most people start. So I just like to get everybody in a love vibration that feels good, safe, and happy. Happier, at least. If you can't get to happy, you can get to happier or calmer. And then take them on a little trip in their mind with a, magic carpet or whatever, that they're on the beach, in a forest, wherever they like to be, that feels good. And then, when the music, they're listening to the music, and then I'm just having them imagine, just use your imagination with all of your senses. It doesn't matter if you can't see it. It's just like, can you know that you're in a forest? Because you can hear the animals, or you can feel the breeze at the beach or whatever. And so you just take somebody to a different place in their mind so they can get out of their conscious, like the wheel, like the rat on the wheel. Because most people don't know how to get out of that. And then honestly, people do it by themselves. I don't do anything. I really just literally hold space, and I help them see, hear, and feel something that feels better than I'm not good enough and my life sucks. And then they can review their life remotely. And when you can get out of your conscious mind and you can look at the you over there on the beach, it's like magic. Like, the problems don't seem so big when you're looking at it from a remote view, and you can solve your own problems. I'm not doing it. Each person is solving their own problems. I'm just helping you get out of your conscious mind. And a lot of times it's even, this might be like where an emotional moment happens, like you were talking about with the CBT, and you have to be at a certain level of awareness to even start with an affirmation. But you could say an affirmation all day long, like, there's an abundance of money in my life. But if that 5-year-old the 5-year-old's calling the shots and driving the bus most of the time, because if the child is scared and saying, no, it's not. Remember, your dad always said, we don't have any money. Your dad, it's like, that is what's playing in the background. So that's why you might have, even if you bring in while you're on the beach, and, just asking the question, like, what part of you needs something? What part of you needs love? What part of you is scared? And the 5-year-old might show up.
Yeah.
So you're kind of joining in that together. And it's not like, it's not scary, really. It's like, it's more love. It's all about love.
Yeah.
And
what you are doing is facilitating. You're beautifully facilitating a conversation that person can have with themselves in an unconditional and kind way. In my experience, that's what a really good talk therapist does as well. Right. So I would say the same thing. I'm not doing anything in therapy other than
you're guiding.
I'm attuned to being able to ask the questions that are going to help facilitate a deeper connection to what you want to get to. And that, for me, is the difference between a good therapist and someone who's just a good listener, right? Like, it's a skill. And so I'm hearing one of the things you do really well, Kim, is understand that person, get to know them, get to see them for who they really are, and then help facilitate a conversation with themselves that they may not be able to have with themselves by themselves or with their friends. And that it really is beautiful, right? It's a facilitative guide on that journey.
One of the most powerful sessions I remember having was once I discovered my quote unquote childhood trauma. One of the next couple of sessions, I remember after we were completely under, you said, so what do you see? And I said, I see a little girl looking in the mirror. And then we discovered it was me as a child. So we did some inner child healing work there. The next session I had, I saw the little girl again, but it wasn't me in the mirror. It was Taylor. And at that point, I was having a really hard time connecting with her. I know.
Goosebumps.
Really
Wow.
hard time connecting with her. And I realized it's because she is and was me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard to get there. And I remember after those sessions, within the couple weeks, she came up to me and she said, Mom, I feel like we're really bonding.
Oh,
I can't talk about it. Stop.
yeah.
And it's things like that I didn't even realize I had a block there.
Yep.
But I was putting up some sort of wall because I saw so many things and I had these expectations and I had these demands of her. And it just, that helped me to see it.
And they weren't demands of her. They were
No.
demands of you.
Yes.
And until we allowed that to not be a part of the
Yes.
equation, we could accept Taylor for who Taylor was.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that.
Yes. And it just started this new type of relationship with her.
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably 10 at the time. Well,
Mhm.
10. Yeah, she's going to be 15. So, and I noticed I have a different type of relationship with my younger daughter. Now, at that time, she was only 2 or 3. So it's just very different. But that was the crack I needed and the mirror to be held up to feel it and see it and all of that.
Yeah.
So it was really powerful.
My next question for you, Kim, is what does someone need to have in order to be successful at hypnotherapy? And I asked this question with little asterisks next to it because a fake therapist is going to say to you, nothing, just bring yourself. It's completely fine. We'll be able to get there. And I'm going to call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
absolute.
if you don't have the ability to self-reflect, if you don't have some degree, doesn't have to be full-fledged, but some degree of self-awareness, if you don't have some ability to be able to own what is yours versus what is others, I'm going to be very limited in my ability to do work with you. And in fact, I have sat in sessions with clients where I have said, we've gone as far as we can possibly go,
Right.
because there's such a block
Right.
here. Well, they should probably have gone to hypnotherapy at that point, right?
No, but even then, Kim will tell you.
Such a block that I'm not able to do work with you until you're able to allow yourself to do work. So that was my asterisk. I hope that wasn't too leading, but I felt myself needing to say that because I do believe that there should be qualifiers on who is a good candidate for hypnotherapy based on whatever those factors are you think that they might be.
That's another great question. $1 million questions. So typically, assuming that someone has the ability to self-reflect and be honest, someone with a diagnosed personality disorder isn't going to get far, probably. But let's assume that there is no diagnosis of personality disorder. A high degree of problem, and so it's really impacting your life. Like this is, I need to change this because if I don't, I'm just going to keep getting more of the same. So a high degree of problem and a high desire to fix it. And you can't be lukewarm. We're dealing with emotions, remember? So being lukewarm or being like, yeah, whatever. I could handle this problem for another 5 years. If you're there,
I was debilitated.
Yeah.
I was debilitated and I was like, I need an intervention.
Yeah. Ready for change.
Yeah.
And
like you said, you have to be able to be honest. If you're going to show up and lie, well, I wouldn't take that client.
Right. They probably wouldn't be walking in your door anyway, honestly, unless they were forced to be there. You know, I'm here because my wife's making me be here, but I really don't want to be here. Right.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
That won't work. No.
Right.
You have to want it for yourself.
Right. For my third question, I think what I'm going to do is something a little exciting. I'm going to, actually, I know you're part of our Facebook group, Kim, which is wonderful. That's how people will be able to get in touch with you. But I'd like to continue that part of the conversation by putting my third question in the Facebook group. So I won't tell you what my third question is. I'll just put it in there and then we can engage in a discussion from that point. Some of the extra content that some of our listeners are going to get if they're subscribed to our More Love, it's called Even More Love subscription service, will be that they'll get to see an activity that me, you, and Rebecca are all doing together. And can you just give us a little idea of what that activity is? Like, what could people expect to hear during that activity?
Yeah, I when I did my meditation about this, what very loudly came up for me was, again, I keep hearing your words like more love, so I would say the one that was in my heart the strongest is, it's a hypnotic regression. So it's like a this life regression. However, someone could spontaneously go to a past life. You just don't know where the mind is going to go, but it would be a journey to backward in time to a forgotten happy memory. Because I feel like right now in the world, there's just so much fear, negativity, and people are at like an all-time level of fear and agitation. And then in any life, we tend to, the negative gets the most power. We always focus on the negative. So going back to a forgotten happy memory is always fun. It's fun for everybody. But in that you get, there's so many good feelings there, but it's also empowering, and you could connect with a part of you that you could love more love for you.
I love that.
It's actually probably good we're not going to do this exercise because I can't emotionally handle it right now.
And I'm not sure Kim's prepared for both of us to do that same activity together.
I know.
There's a lot of energy that happens there. So let's give her a minute and then, we'll just do it in a different session.
I still want my angel card.
Yes.
I still want my angel card. And I saw her holding a pendulum. So
okay, let's end today with our angel card. One thing I did want to say is, we haven't done my affirmation card in a while. But what was interesting is we both picked these independently, and yours talked about joy. And my affirmation card today says, I know that a simple shift in perspective can change my reality. I am choosing joy. I thought that was interesting. So that's really interesting. I read that. Yep. I love that too. All right. So let's end with your hippie voo. Let's end with your angel card, whatever. Whatever we're doing here.
I'm going to show you. Rebecca knows this book, but
I sure do.
Okay. The power of angelic symbolatry.
Yes. The power of
this is where I tune out. It's fine.
I'm with you. I'm all in because she can feel my energy and she will give me perspective.
That's fine, Kim. I just put the lotion on here.
What is in that?
This is the grounded roller ball.
This is
the grounding.
It's I'll tell you. Oh, God. It is.
Smells like
where's a
car wash.
It doesn't say which oils are in this one.
It's cherry. There's cherry.
It's got a gross smell, but it's the root chakra grounding oil.
It was again for Rebecca because she's going to float off into outer space here. Yes. So let's give her an angel card. Let's pull the angel card and see what this says.
It's a symbol, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So I don't pick it. I don't pick it. So I have my pendulum. I have my book.
I love it so much. I love it.
See if I can.
This is how we would start our session. Okay. She'd be like, I'm not going to ask you, and I'm not going to tell you. The pendulum would go through her binder and tell me what my problem was.
Okay.
Always dead nuts on.
Okay.
It's right.
Tell us, pendulum, what is the angel symbol?
Come on, pendulum, pick a good one. All right. So I'm just going to show you. This is how I do it for everybody. So the symbols are on this side. The words are on this side. I don't look at the words because I don't want to be channeling
Rebecca's energy or.
So I'm just asking this question so you could see my pendulum, right? So is there a symbol that would benefit Rebecca right now? So that's a yes. Is the symbol for Rebecca on this page? Did you see that? It was already going to know that it was not, because I was thinking is it on this page? No. So
see, that's what happened. So then she has to go to another one.
Flip over.
It could be multiple pages.
Is this symbol for Rebecca on this page? Yes. Is it in the top row? Okay, so it is in the top row. Is it first box, top row? First box, top row. Is there any other symbol that goes with this one? No. So this symbol for Rebecca is the one that she needs most at this time. Yes. Okay, let's see what it is.
Hold your breath, Erin.
Embracing the possibility.
I feel like I have to go pee-pee.
All right. If it has anything to do with our self-help book from this morning, I swear to God.
I can't. What's the word, Kim?
Okay, so this is it. It looks like this.
Okay.
And
That's your next
it is
tattoo.
embracing the possibilities. The color is orange. The gemstone is rainbow moonstone. And I don't know if that means anything to you, but
Rainbow moonstone. Okay. Erin has all the things she's going to
what'd you say? You said rainbow moonstone. What'd you say after that?
The color is
the
orange.
physical body is upper arms.
Okay.
So I'll read it to you.
Okay.
Embracing the possibilities. You sit in the center of a spiral. As you look up, you can see there are multitudes of options. There once appeared to be no way out. However, now is a time to celebrate as you become aware of the glorious possibilities. What once appeared as tones of gray begin to take on a rainbow of colors. Each color brings with it many choices, each one more magnificent than the other. What initially appeared as a maze becomes increasingly more clear. It is a grand time to embrace the possibilities in your life and celebrate the unfolding mystery. Also, what goes with it, typically, she says, is to release expectations. That's a different symbol. It's a beautiful reminder to release and let go and allow the universe to provide for you in even grander ways than you can begin to imagine.
What do you want to say about that? She has all the things.
Your name is Rainbow Moonstone from now on. Hey, Rainbow Moonstone.
How can you not want to call Kim every day and be like, Kim, give it to me?
I mean, do I want to know my angel symbol now? Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Okay.
you want one. I was gonna
Yeah, I
say.
kind of do.
See?
I
This
knew
is
it.
addicted.
Just
All right,
Wait,
let's
can
do
we
it. So we got to clear the book.
give your top 3 words on what she just said about me and what
accurate, interesting, and necessary. Those are my top 3 words.
Okay, Erin's turn.
Miss Rainbow Moonstone.
So I just had to clear the energy off my book. So
that also would be your drag name.
Rainbow Moonstone?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
Kim,
100%
we're
your
going on a
drag.
cruise next week, and my entire wardrobe is rainbow themed.
Mm-hmm. And you know she's obsessed with rainbows. And that is 100%. If you were a drag queen, your name would be Rainbow Moonstone.
Yeah.
I'm now.
What do you think
changing
mine's
it.
going to be? It's
I don't know.
Okay.
Is there a symbol for Erin right now? Oh, you got an even bigger yes than. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, I got to see.
You got an
We
even
got to watch.
bigger
The
yes
whole
than-
point is watching it.
Can you
Oh,
see
yeah.
this? Like,
Sure
look
can.
how big that is.
Mm-hmm.
Is the symbol for Erin on this page?
I hope it's the one that looks like 2 boobs. Nope, not
Oh,
on
it's not on that page.
Not on this page.
Nope, not on that page.
You know we're going to the hippie voodoo shop and buying one of these.
You know it's the 18th page she goes to.
Is the symbol for Erin on this page? Okay. Is it the top row? Is it this first box? Top row.
No, that's mine. Not yours.
Is it the second box, top row?
Mm,
No. Is it this third one?
Oh, it's going to be the V.
No. Is it this one? The fourth box, top row. I don't know the symbol.
Look at that. Look at that going back and forth.
So I
V
feel
for
like
the
I've never
vagina.
seen this symbol. Is there another symbol for Erin? Is there a second symbol that goes with this?
Nope.
No. Okay. I don't know what this symbol is. So let's see.
Great. This is even
Great.
better.
Oh, great. This is great.
Here we go.
It is expansion.
It's what?
Expansion. So I'll show you. I'll send these to you guys after. But this is what it looks like.
I like that. Okay.
Expansion is the color gold. The gemstone is amber. The physical body is the shoulders. And it says, we invite you to be awake and aware, dear one, to new opportunities and new ideas. Be open to experiences which will broaden your vision of the world you live in. You will find a richness opening up to you in return. Your positive thoughts will become your reality. Celebrate this power of expansion.
I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go.
Mm-hmm. If that couldn't be more accurate, I'm not sure what is.
Is it because every single day you come to me and you're like, okay, black and white. Okay, black and let it roll. Okay,
Right.
let it roll.
And the fact that you're embarking on some new journeys, the fact that we're
We're
starting
doing
our
some
new
new
business,
things.
the fact that things are more abstract in your life, than they've ever been.
I'm trying to bring in some abstract.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you'll have
like
your
that.
symbol. I'll send it to you, and you can
I
draw
like
it on
that.
your put it on your wall.
What's my name? If hers Rainbow Moonstone, what's my name? I don't have one. Mine didn't come with a name. Oh no, that was her rock. Mine was
That's this. Yeah.
Her
What's your
rock
name?
was Rainbow.
I thought you were asking Rebecca to give you a drag name.
I didn't know
what you
the
were
Rainbow
doing.
Moonstar was the rock. You're Amber.
It was the rock.
You're
my,
Amber.
My name's Amber.
You're the stripper.
Great.
I'm the drag. I'm the drag
That's
queen.
great.
You're the
If that could not be any more clear for us, I have the most
generic.
bland, normal. Hey, Amber, what's up? And then I'm like, this is my best friend, Rainbow Moonstone. That shit's funny.
It's true. It's true.
That is perfect. And your hippie, whatever you got going on in your hair is perfect, Rainbow Moonstone. And I'm over here a complete Amber. I'm a complete Amber.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Kim, for being on the show today. It was really awesome to have you. And if people want to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
My website is www.entrancinginspirations.com. And my number is 585-708-9923. Also, I have a new number, but I don't know what it is because it's brand new. So we'll just go with that one.
All right. We'll put it in the Facebook group.
Yes, we'll make sure it's in the Facebook group. Thank you for sharing your information, your wisdom, and your talents with us today. We appreciate it as we continue on our journey, always for more love.
I loved that.
Me too. Isn't empathy amazing?
Well, we're amazing. I don't know about all that sympathy stuff.
That's fine. I accept you wherever you are.
Oh, God.
I love you.
I love you too.
And if you love us, please like and subscribe to More Love, the Power of Empathy podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
See you next time.